Alright, Rome Total War fans, I recently placed a bulletin on my channel asking for requests as to which faction I should play next, and the request came in as Parthia. So you can see my pink Parthian army marching forward here. Do you think the Parthians in real life wore pink? Well, in any case, I have 4 units of hillmen with gold and a couple of chevrons. I have 4 units of archers that are gold upgraded. You can see them there. On either flank I have a unit of horse archers that are opening fire. I have 2 units of Arab light cavalry and 4 units of gold upgraded cataphracts. Let me get you the picture there. There they are moving forward. My opponent is playing as the Gauls. Poor fellow. Parthia is a decent faction, though it can be tough to beat phalanx factions with them. But Gaul does not have a whole lot of defense against cataphracts because their only spearmen are these light spearmen. So let's take a look at my opponent's units. It looks like he has 5 units of chosen swordsmen, 2 units of barbarian noble cavalry, which look better than they are, and the real part of his army are these units of forester warband, and I believe he has 6 of them. And they're going to slaughter my archers, and my horse archers are only going to have minimal effect because the foresters are excellent. So my best bet is to just rush in, because like I said, the Gauls really don't have any defense, so this isn't really going to be a matter of outpowering my opponent or outthinking my opponent. It's just going to be a matter of plowing right through my opponent, and it'll either work or it won't, because I don't have a whole lot of other options. Now, I'm not expecting my hillmen to win the fight. They were just there to annoy the Gauls, while my cataphracts charge in, pull out their maces, and get down to business. And the maces penetrate armor, and one thing the Gauls do not have a lot of is armor, except for the chosen swordsmen, and thus my cataphracts are just going to tear apart these Gauls. And so you can see the enemy general's dead, and just hacking down these chosen swordsmen without much problem. The other side of the battle is pretty much already over. It's the same situation. His units are just being hacked to bits by my cataphracts. So Parthia is a pretty tough faction. They can be tricky to play against phalanx factions though, because you have to be careful about not getting your horses stuck on a phalanx. But Parthia definitely has some strength in their cataphracts and the number of missile units that they have, as well as horse archers, and on top of that they have elephants if you're not playing in CWB. My opponent in this battle was Vercingetorix, so he's being true to the history of Gaul, and he was quite upset whenever I chose Parthia as my faction, and that's understandable, because Gaul is a terrible faction to play against Parthia with. In fact, Gaul's pretty much a terrible faction to play against anybody with. But he was brave and decided to play against me. Here's my Arab cavalry. They're horse-mounted, basically light infantrymen. Pretty quick cavalry, best in the desert, but I brought them here anyway. I didn't want to bring any more cataphracts than I did because I knew it was already pretty unfair for the Gauls. So here I am routing out the last units, just plowing down whatever he has left with my cavalry. So this, like I said, wasn't a fight that involved tactics or anything else. It was basically me just slamming into the Gauls from whatever angle I deemed necessary. The hillmen were just a distraction, because Parthia doesn't have any real decent foot infantry. Their power lies in the cataphracts, missiles, and elephants. Alright, and that is the end of the battle.
The enemy are crushed.
I know I said it wasn't much of a battle. But my opponent, it's not because my opponent wasn't a good player. He was a good player, and if you saw, he did a good job trying to surround my cataphracts, but his men were just too poor quality to be able to do anything about him. And that's because he was the Gauls, not because he made any bad choices, I don't think. Alright, well here's the results. Hope you enjoyed the battle. I know it's short, but I will bring you more in the future. Look for updates on my channel whenever I ask which faction you want me to play as, and feel free to put your input in whenever I post the question asking you who you want me to play as.